Donald Trump is having an absolute panic attack after President Biden's impressive State of the Union speech. Donald Trump went on his social media platform, which was broken down for most of the night. And finally, when it went back live, Donald Trump started doing post. And here's what he posted. He wrote, "The fake news media is taking crooked Joe Biden's anger and calling it, quote, fiery. That's why they're the fake news, and there's nobody like them." Okay, that's a weird post. Then Donald Trump goes, "If you get rid of TikTok, Facebook, and Zucker Schmuck, will double their business. I don't want Facebook, who cheated in the last election, doing better. They are the true enemy of the people." This is just weird stuff, folks. And it's like nonstop post after post. He goes, "That may be the angriest, least compassionate, and worst State of the Union speech ever made. It was an embarrassment to our country." It just starts becoming full projection and confession right here. He has another one. "That was angry, polarizing, and hate-filled. He barely mentioned immigration, or the worst border in the history of the world. He will never fix immigration." It's just wah, 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 wah. And then Donald Trump started posting these videos with these like weird filters on them of President Biden. I mean, Trump's like the most immature, little petulant freaking baby that there is. This is actually a I'm not making this up. This is what Donald Trump's been posting, stuff like, I'm just going to play you a small clip of it because I can't tolerate it anymore, but this is real. Here, play this clip.
"We're going to buy American. We're going to buy America." So trade rules. Buy America has been the law since 1933. Also caps and won't even go into effect until 2025. And by the way, that law was written and the benefit expires in 2025. New electric grids that are able to weather major storms and not prevent those forest fires.
The Republican Party wants to give Donald Trump the nuclear codes. Somebody who's spending the time where President Biden delivered a very impressive State of the Union, a time where we should still try to come together as a nation. That's what Donald Trump was doing. And by the way, Donald Trump had a lot of his MAGAs there during the State of the Union wearing Donald Trump's mugshot on T-shirts when they showed up to the State of the Union wearing American flag bow ties. Folks, that's a member of Congress, a MAGA member, but that is the state of the Republican Party today. It is so utterly shameful. So on the one hand, you had President Biden delivering a powerful State of the Union, invoking Ronald Reagan, saying, "Mr. Gorbachev, take down that wall," and talking about the spirit of standing up against the Soviet Union, standing up against the threat now posed by Russia and Vladimir Putin. So on the one hand, you have President Biden doing this. Let's play this clip.
But now, assistance to Ukraine is being blocked by those who want to walk away from our world leadership. It wasn't long ago when a Republican president named Ronald Reagan thundered, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." Now my predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, "Do whatever the hell you want." That's a quote. A former president actually said that, bowing down to a Russian leader. I think it's outrageous, it's dangerous, and it's unacceptable.
And notice the MAGAs there in Congress were not clapping. They're okay with being subservient to Vladimir Putin. And they're all sitting there terrified of Donald Trump, a wannabe fascist who looks up to Vladimir Putin. I suppose those MAGA Republicans you saw there who refused to clap, they would prefer speeches like this, where Donald Trump describes our military in terms of noises. Play this clip.
These are not muscle guys here, they're muscle guys up here, right? And they calmly walk to a seat. Ding, 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 ding. They've only got 17 seconds to figure this whole thing out, right? Boom. Okay. Missile launch. Pshing, boom. It's the most
Or perhaps, I mean, it's ridiculous to watch that. Or perhaps they like watching Donald Trump give speeches where he calls Nikki Haley, Nancy Pelosi, and he calls President Biden, Obama, and then he spends all the time talking about passing cognitive exams and how he loves to interpose the incorrect names because Tricky Nikki, he says, whatever that even is supposed to mean. Here, play this clip.
But when I say that Obama is the president of our country, blah, 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 they go, he doesn't know that's Biden. He doesn't know. So it's very hard to be sarcastic. When I interpose, because I'm not a Nikki fan and I'm not a Pelosi fan, and when I purposely interpose names, they said he didn't know Pelosi from Nikki, from Tricky Nikki. He didn't know. I interpose, and they make a big deal out of it. I said, no, I think they both stink. They have something in common. They both stink. And remember this. When I make a statement like that about Nikki, that means she will never be running for vice president. She will never be running for vice president. Remember.
President Biden's going to rip that loser to shreds in a debate if Donald Trump will actually even show up at a debate, which I have my doubts. And here Donald Trump praises the January 6th insurrectionists who he created an alternative anthem that replaces the national anthem at the beginning of his traveling fascist circus events that he calls rallies. And he brags about the spirit of them, and he calls the insurrectionists hostages. Play this clip.
They've done to people. You heard the hostages singing. That was the hostages. They're the J6 hostages, I call them, because they are hostages. They're policemen, they're firemen, they're accountants. They're lawyers in some cases. They're put in jail for extended periods of time, for very long periods of time. They're hostages. You heard them singing. You heard the spirit that they had? The spirit is unbelievable. That song became the #1 song. And you
know, and as you see with the post that I was showing you where he's just randomly attacking Zuckerberg, who he calls Schmuckerberg or whatever he calls. And, you know, Trump's out there saying Gavin Newscum instead of Newsom. It's just like, just grow up, you baby freaking loser. No offense to even babies there. They behave more mature than that. But even Fox had this question for Donald Trump's latest spokesperson about the name calling and just this petulant, whiny, immature, weirdo behavior. Here, play this clip.
Okay, I've got a complaint. I know the campaign wants to win over Nikki Haley's voters, but I don't think you do that with name calling. For example, I take issue with Trump's new nickname for California governor, calling him New Scum. I don't think that's a good idea. I object to that kind of language. How about you?
Well, I think that what Governor Gavin Newsom has done to the great state, once great state of California, is terrible. You see real scum, real homeless people all over the streets.
Are you okay? Are you saying it's okay to bring that kind of language to a presidential campaign? New scum? That's okay?
I think the real problem here, Stu, is the policies of the deranged Democrats from Gavin Newsom to Joe Biden that have destroyed American communities across this country.
You don't agree with me, but I think your campaign has a problem with language like that.
Well, I don't think voters respectfully agree with you either, Stu. If you look at the resounding wins that President Trump has received across the board.
You think you're going to win over Haley voters with language like that, do you? You win over moderates and women with language like that? Really?
And language like what I've just been showing you with Donald Trump. Rage post. There you have President Biden delivering a powerful speech. And this is what we've been saying all along on the MeidasTouch Network. You got these MAGA Republicans and all these right-wing propaganda networks that like just completely defame and lie about Biden all of the time, and all of the things they accuse Biden of are actually what's going on with Donald Trump. So when you get to see President Biden in his element like that, giving a speech, they just can't handle it. And of course, Donald Trump is just totally breaking down right there. So we'll keep you posted if this panic attack escalates even more and it becomes just a complete and utter and total breakdown. But I don't know. I'm enjoying watching it right now. I don't know about you. Put it in the comments how you feel. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Thank you so much for watching.
Hey, Meidas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.